Look at that, another shooting. Suspected lot of Brown University shooting. Right. Today, after this long day of, and if you see, I'll turn on the light, guys. Today, after this long day of up in the morning, eating breakfast, wrapping the gifts, going all the way to Las Cruces, buying the tree, driving all the way back here, decorating the tree, then watching the Navy Army game after it was already an hour in, you know, we cut it off the DVR, and making my chicken and vegetable soup, and now I'm gonna go eat. This is the Christmas video, and this is too much sadness out there. I was really disappointed today at the Army-Navy game, especially with the way the referee praised Trump. Oh my God. You know, when they got out there and they introduced him and praised him. Oh, his alter ego. The man's an evil, evil dictator. An evil dictator who does not belong running this country. Alright? He's a criminal in chief. That's what he is. Alright. And so I walked into this room and got the tree. It's always blue at the top and light at the bottom, multiple colored lights at the bottom. We can't get the red ones to go on at the top. It does give it a unique look, though. Right, Joe?
I'm fixing that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to try to get it fixed. I hope we can. Alright. I'm going to turn on this light now and get some of the nativity scenes. They got the gifts on the ground. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not real Christmassy right now. It's just it's been a rough year, and it's gonna be another rough 2 years, and it's just I really don't know how I'm gonna get through it. I'm being honest. I don't know how I'm gonna get through it. Anyway, here's the. Ooh, my wife got me a couple gifts here, and there's stockings. And my grandmother made the stockings. She even made one for the nieces and nephews, right? And my mom helped make some stockings too, right, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know how many Grandma made for the grandkids.
And then here's a table nativity kinda. We got the Nutcracker and the angel, and then we have Mary and Joseph, you know, holding the baby, and then we have the three kings down here with baby Jesus at the bottom, and then we have a really mini one right here down here too. See the little mini one. So basically, we have three nativities on the table of all different sizes, which is really cool. And this is a Mrs. Claus at the bottom, and got the mouse on the table, and I'm going back in the kitchen to see the soup. Yeah, the kitchen, you know, we'll be cooking, and that's the soup, chicken and cabbage with lots of vegetables, really healthy. And I'm going to go take a bite of mine right here at the bowl in this video here. Really good, guys. Really good. Chicken, married soup, lots of vegetables. Really healthy. Oh, I got my big callus binder here. And some of these are my blog notes too, because I did a lot of blogging back then. Here we go. At the beginning of my Christmas video this year, and I'm filming the lights, I was angry about Trump. Angry, you know, and I am. I am angry about Donald J. Trump because he is. I meant everything I shouted in that video, in the opening of the video, because he is an evil dictator. He's destroying our White House. He's destroying our legacy of America. He's garbage. He's excrement. Okay. So man alive. And if you think about this, what I'm going to talk about here, the history of Christmas, and some of the first Christmas, and the birth of Jesus, and the 5 Magi, that's 5, 2 of them died along the way. So that's why they talk about the 3 kings, the 3 Magi, wise men. There was a lot of evil things going on in Rome. A lot of tyranny. You know, the rulers were dictators. They were cruel. They were mean. Do what I say, not what I do. Now, I'm not saying Trump is as evil as the dictators in Rome, but there's a lot of comparison, because he is an evil dictator. He is the do as I say, not as I do type of person. He believes he's a king. He believes he can get away with breaking the constitutional laws. Believes he can get away with murdering innocent people with these boat strikes. He believes he can start wars on his own without the act of Congress. I mean, he's a dictator. He's evil. He does not belong in our White House. He's excrement. So talk about the Christmas of those times with the way the Roman emperor was, trying to steal all this land from everybody, pay taxes, make yourself poorer. Think about it. We become poor because we're overtaxed or over-tariffed. There's a lot of comparisons. I hate Trump. I'm sorry I hit him. Even in medieval times. Oh my God. Trump would have been, I'm sorry, an insurrectionist attack of our Capitol. He wouldn't have been president. I'm sorry, but he would have been hung. Medieval times, he would have been hung. Even the Romans would not allow that. Okay. The history of Christmas. Now, we made it a Christian holiday. We made it a Christian holiday. The church did it. But all the traditions of Christmas are not from Christianity. They're going to the tree. It's a pagan tradition. Celtic traditions. We get Christmas, all the stuff we do at Christmas, all from pagan and Celtic traditions. None of it is from Christian traditions. Okay. But here's the definitions. A Christian holiday, but honoring the birth of Jesus Christ, Christmas evolved over 2 millennia into a worldwide religious and secular celebration incorporating many pre-Christian pagan traditions and festivities. Alright? Now our Christmas, we call Christmas, is the celebrating the birth of Christ. Alright? When the pagans celebrated, they celebrated the feast day of Saturnalia, which is actually on here. I'll get to that. But December 25th was Saturnalia. But they made it as the birthday of Jesus, but it's not the birthday of Jesus. I'll get to that too. Now, today Christmas is a time for family and friends to get together and exchange gifts. But to me, this is not what it's really about. It's about giving to the poor and needy. It's about helping others. About spreading joy and peace throughout the world. And remembering what Christ did for us. The ultimate sacrifice Christ did for us. And I wrote down in here, Christmas, like all other so-called holidays, gets its roots from pagan traditions. We Christians stole most of the traditions from pagan worship. Like the pagan worship trees and nature during the time of Saturnalia, the final feast day on December 25th, which is the heart of winter solstice. They would decorate the trees. This is why we decorate Christmas trees today. Okay, here's some footnotes here. Roman pagans first introduced the holiday of Saturnalia, a week-long harvest and lawlessness celebrated between the 17th and 25th of December. In the 4th century, Christianity imported the Saturnalia festival, hoping to take the pagan masses with it. Christian leaders succeeded in converting large numbers of pagans to Christianity by promising them that they could continue to celebrate the Saturnalia as Christians. Alright? The problem was that, though, there was nothing Christian about Saturnalia. To remedy this, Christian leaders named Saturnalia's concluding day as Christmas, the 25th, to be Jesus' birthday, which is not Jesus' birthday. Popular myth puts Jesus' birthday on December 25th in the year 1 CE, but this does not add up, and I'll tell you why it doesn't add up. Dionysius Augustus, I'm messing up these names, okay? Okay, a Sicilian monk, okay, wrote the modern calendar known as the Julian calendar. Anno Domini, the years of Christ, all right? The Anno Domini, that's what it means, okay? And he really had no idea when Jesus was born. In fact, the day he did suggested 733 in the Roman calendar is 4 years after the death of Herod. And Jesus was crucified during the time of Herod, according to the Bible. So this doesn't even add up with the biblical teachings. Alright? Early Christians did not celebrate the birth of Jesus. They didn't celebrate birthdays. But if you did celebrate the birth of Jesus, let me talk about some research I did when I was in college. When I was in college, we talked about the star formation. And there's two theories here. Because it did take the wise men 2 to 3 years, at least 2 years, to travel from the Middle East to where Jesus was, Jerusalem. It took them 2 years, at least. Well, the Christmas story that we have, you know, Jesus in the manger, and then the wise men are there, and they give out the gifts. I believe that could be true. But, because these guys were astronomers, they were scientists. They studied planet formations. The planets were becoming in a line, a particular line, forming a particular pattern. Right? And they were in these rooms, and they had like a pool at the bottom that reflected the planets and stars, and they could see the formations, and they would study this. They were ahead of their time, because even the modern day telescopes didn't show the planets like these Magi saw them. All right? So they knew that something big was coming just from the study of these planets. They said, we got to leave now, because in a few years something big is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. That's what my theory is. That's what my belief is. That's what the theory I wrote down from my theology classes in college when I went to the Regina Elom Seminary. Now, another theory is the wise men saw the star in the sky, and then they traveled, and then Jesus was already a toddler by the time they saw him. But the problem with that theory is the star was not in the sky for 2 years. The star only appeared for a very short while. Alright. And so with the star formation, and with the shepherds watching the flocks at night, which is that one part of the Christmas story in the Bible. I'm not going to read the whole Christmas story, but one part of the Christmas story in the Bible, shepherds watching the flocks at night. And there was no room for them at the end. Now, to watch the flocks at night, they wouldn't be out in December watching the flocks at night. They keep the flocks in the stables. So there wouldn't have been room for Jesus and Mary even in the stables if it was December. The reality is Jesus was born around July. Reality is, Jesus was born around July. And that is from not just my research, but other people's research that studied theology. The very latest he could have been born is September 15th. Because they talk about planet formations. The planet started to just, the formation was gone by September 15th. So the very latest he could have been born is that day. So most people believe he was born in July, especially most theologists believe he was born in July. So we do a Christmas in July as well. All right. Now, if I watched the Kevin Costner's Christmas Story, you can watch it on Hulu. He talks about some of this too. And I'm going in more detail than Kevin Costner did though on this and a few of the subjects. All right. All right. We're going to read the whole Christmas story in the Bible, of course. I like it from the book of Luke. That's my favorite book to read the Christmas story. It's from the book of Luke. All right, yeah, I got some of my points here. The end wasn't what you think, because the end, another point here. The end is not what you think the end was, all right? The end, is the top part of the stables. The bottom part was where they kept the animals. Sometimes the bottom part was like, had like a double. Someone went into like a cave area. And then they had a bottom part underneath that. And then that's where they kept the animals. And then the top part was what they called the inn. Now, reality is, Christians at the time were all neighborly. They all followed, much of the teachings that was being brought down, even before Christ was born. The first, I guess you would call them Christians, even though Christianity really didn't evolve until after Christ. It means, being Christ-like. But the people that believed in Christ and believed in some of these teachings, they were neighborly. And the Jews, because that's what they were. These were Jewish people that became Christians, basically. Because Jesus was a Jew. That's a fact. Jesus was a Jew. Alright? And the Jews they're tight-knit. They're tight-knit. So, they're gonna be gathered, as a family. I mean, they would have allowed Jesus and Mary, and they would have made room for Jesus and Mary. The reality is, birth is done in private. Birth is done in private. The husband couldn't even be there during birth. So, they went to the stable to have the privacy for the birth. Alright, there's another point. In my conclusions, alright, Jesus was really born around between 5 or 3 BC, the Bergen calendar years, the Roman calendars. Right? He was a godlike man, but a human deriving from God. But a human nonetheless. Right? Born from Parthos, Greek meaning young maiden, mother. Parthos, a virgin. Young maiden. We translate this word, virgin, to mean being untouched by man. In biblical times, a virgin was a young maiden. Jesus was raised by human parents, a virgin mother named Miriam from Nazarene, in which we call Mary, Nazareth, and his adopted father Joseph from Bethlehem. Not much is said in the Bible about Jesus as a young boy. The only story that really relates to him is when he was found in a temple conversing with the high priest as a child. As a teen, he worked as a stone layer with his father Joseph, not a carpenter, like we led to believe. In reality, there's not a lot of wood in Galilee. The wood was mainly used for Roman crucifixion. Therefore, a tecton built with stone. Tecton is day labor. They built with stone, not wood. Very rarely wood. Right? Jesus was raised strictly as a Jew. He was Jewish. And followed the Torah, the laws passed down from Moses. His father died when he was a young man, and his mother married the eldest brother of Joseph, Clopas. This was done in accordance with the Leviticus law. Mary then bore 6 more children, 4 boys and 2 girls. The stepbrothers and sisters of Jesus were, according to age, James, Jude, Simon, Salome, Joseph, Matthew, and Josie. Jesus helped to take care of the family when his stepbrothers and sisters got older. He left in his cash given by God. So that's the birth of Jesus and a paraphrase of the life of Jesus. And if you want to read the entire Bible story, then it's in Luke. I thought I had it written down in here, but where they declared the decree, and then they travel, and they're born in the manger. And the angel Gabriel came and said, "Fear not, but behold, bringing tidings of great joy." All right. Now, wasn't here to talk about the whole Bible story, but now you got it. Maybe I'll read the Bible story to you guys and add that on to this video. But right now I wanted to get to the points of the 2 Christmas story of the 2 birth of Jesus. That's all I got right now. Thanks. All right. I'm going to read the Bible story from the Catholic Bible, my nice Catholic Bible. I also have a William Study Bible, and I have the oldest Bible that was published before the King James, which is the Geneva Bible. I usually read these stories from the King James Bible. King James is my favorite. I love the King's writing, where the words are. It's the most read Bible. The King James versions are the most read. I do have a second edition King James Bible that was published in actually 1611. That one's very brittle. That's in plastic. I hardly ever open that one. That one has the word Jehovah in it instead of Lord in all caps. My King James, Authorized King James Bible that I had, that was given to me by a pastor on the Bellawood. When I was going through the hard time, I was getting triggered badly on the Bellawood. It's a long story. And it was a 2002 Authorized Catholic Bible, a new Catholic edition, a new King James edition, with the red letters and everything, what Jesus spoke. Well, the flood, the rain, dripped completely down on my Bible from the corner of my little study there, and completely destroyed it. I tried to blow dry it best I could, but I can't even really open it now. It's pieces are really stuck, and no matter how much I tried to blow dry it, I just couldn't fix it. So that's the end of my King James one. Unfortunately, maybe I'll have to order another King James one. Maybe I'll order a nice one, nice leather-bound one, and find a safer place to keep it. I used to keep that out because I was always reading and studying it, you know. All right. Like I was saying, Luke. And I was going to give you all the verses from Luke, but it's Luke chapter 2, at the beginning of chapter 2. Most of the stories about Jesus are all from chapter 2. His childhood and everything, when he's circumcised, when he meets, when he's baptized, everything. All right. The birth of Jesus, Luke 2, 1. The birth of Jesus, Luke chapter 2, verse 1. In those days, a decree was called out for Caesar Augustus that all the world should be enrolled. That this was the first enrollment which Creton was governor of Syria. All went to enroll each of his own city. A census. See, even in the Catholic Bible is more confusing. I'd rather read it from the King James. Right? And Joseph went to Galilee from the city of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house of lineage of David, to be enrolled with Mary, his betrothed, his wife, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to be delivered. Time for the birth of Jesus. Right? And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. I'll explain to you about what the inn is. And this part of the Bible is false. The Jews were very close-knit. The shepherds and the angels. And then the reason there was shepherds out in the field keeping watch of the flock by night. Now this is the part that tells you that the birth of Jesus was not in December, because the shepherds don't watch the flocks at night. Alright? And an angel of the Lord, of Jehovah, appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with fear. And the angel said to them, "Be not afraid, fear not. For behold, I bring you good news of great joy, which will come to all the people. For you to be born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, laying in a manger." And suddenly there was a great angel, a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among men." When the angel went away from them into the heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go over to Bethlehem and see this miracle." And they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the baby laying in the manger. And when they saw it, they made known the saying which had been told them concerning this child. And all who of all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they heard and seen, and they had told them. That's it. That's the Christmas story in this Bible. All right. Thanks, guys.